Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So tonight I am going to be sharing with you guys how I go about planning out my week. Now this isn't going to be like a step-by-step while I'm planning it. Well, I am going to be planning it out, but I'm just going to kind of explain to you guys how I like to do things. So if you guys are interested in knowing how other mamas are planning out their homeschool week, stay tuned. What I do is I pull what I need from my cart and I pull what I need from my daughter's cart. And so that literally entails pretty much all of our books. I'm just joking, not really. So basically I grab everything that we are going to be working on for the week. So for instance, we have geography stuff, we have landform stuff, we have presidents, we have her, this is like a booklet with all of her worksheets that she uses per lesson, per subject. I have her schedule because I usually use that when I'm filling out my planner, just so I don't have to go back and forth within my own planner. I can just have this next to me. I can have this next to me and then I do it that way. It's super easy. I started doing her own schedule. We do it for my nieces as well, and it helps so much because they can just look at that, see what they have next, and they start working on it. Or they try to get their stuff together to bring it to the table to do it together. I'm not gonna lie, I still have to reinforce, like, okay, you guys, history's next. Grab your history stuff. You need this book, this book, this book. I mean, they're in 3rd and 4th grade, and then we have our 8th grader who I never really have to tell her what to grab. She always pretty much knows, unless we're changing things up. So we have Bible. So this is our actual curriculum, and then this is a supplement Bible that I use, along with this one for our review days. I don't have any of my group Bible stuff here just because I already know what I have to do. In our fruit of the spirit, I'll do, let's say, one fruit and then, or one fruit of the spirit. And then I will do in our answers from God or for God, or answers for kids. Oh my gosh, what is it called? I forget, but it's an answers book, and it like has questions about the Bible and then the answers. And we usually do 2 of those a day, and then we read from One Blood for kids. I'll read a few pages, and then we'll do our 10-minute Bible journey, and I'll do 1 lesson for that on our group Bible. So anyways, I'm not gonna pull that over here and go through that. So this is mainly our supplement that we use on review days. And then this one I used for my daughter, I think for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade, or 2nd and 3rd grade. I can't remember now, you guys. It's been so long, it feels like. But that we use, if it's not in this one, we pull from that one. And then this is just my, like my curriculum lineup or plan. It's like a guide from Abeka that goes with the actual Bible curriculum, this. So that goes together. And then I grab my history. Usually we use Notgrass. Notgrass is our base, I would say. It's our main curriculum, and then anything that we learn that we want to learn more about, or that I feel like I want to teach the kids more of, then we branch off and we do our own unit studies. And most of the unit studies I put together myself. Now, we are about to start on the Titanic, which is not in Notgrass at all, but our kids really wanted to do it, so I did like a workbook that goes with it. I bought some cool like memorabilia posters and things like that to go along with it. So we have that I have to go through. I have my guide for language arts because this is video led, even though I teach her on my own as well. These are just post-its. And then we have our ecosystems that we're doing for science. We did finish our safety. We worked through that the last couple weeks. So that is done. And now we are continuing with our ecosystems. Long story about why we did all that. It's in one of my videos, so you may see it. And then that's it. So thinking like, wow, they do a whole lot of subjects, and we do. We really have a full plate. Now this isn't just for mamas that do full days or use a whole lot of curriculum in one day or 1 week. This isn't just for Abeka moms. This isn't just for eclectic moms. This is for anybody. I'm just gonna explain to you guys how I do it and maneuver things around and like change things up. And so what I typically do is, this is my planner. You could see I already started in it because I recorded a video earlier today, and I was going to do some of this with my plan with me, and then I decided, I should just do like a plan with me planner, you know what I'm saying? Or like a curriculum plan with me. I don't know what to call it, but one that I'm actually planning out the week. So typically what I do is, here you'll see my planner. I put the week in the top corner here, and then I start with putting in the curriculum that we are using in the order which we use it. So we change it around a little bit. Right now we are doing all of our parent-led all of our parent-led subjects first thing, and then we are doing our video led. And I've actually really been enjoying that. I feel like our day is going a little bit faster. So my son doesn't school at all throughout the morning, and then I teach him like afternoonish, I would say probably around 1-ish. And that seems to be working really well. So what I've done is we start with Bible. Now Monday through Thursday we do regular Bible curriculum, and then Fridays we do group Bible, and that's what I was talking about with the Spirit, or the fruit of the Spirit, and One Blood for Kids and stuff like that. So that's when we do that as a group. Right now, Monday through Thursday, we work through Becca's curriculum for Bible. I'm teaching my 4th grader and my 8th grade niece. And so what we do is I just go through their plan book. I've manipulated some of the lessons, kind of switched them around because I need to make sure that both of them are getting their lessons they need. And so I'm kind of jumbling it around. So what I did at the beginning of the year, when I figured out how I wanted our layout of the year to go, to make sure that we get it all done, I went ahead and wrote up the lessons that we are going to be doing in the order in which I need to do them. Okay, so I have that done already. So we just finished up with creation, Adam and Eve. Now we are moving on to Enoch and Noah's Ark and Babel. So Monday through Thursday, we work through one of the lessons, and then on a review day that Abeka has, I usually find the same story that we're working on in this book. So this is the Illustrated Family Bible by DK. We're really enjoying it. I think it's working out really well. But for instance, here's Noah and the flood. So I will read through this to the girls on our review day, and then I'll read through this. Now we do a Bible character book that I put together. So say when we learn about Noah's Ark, the kids will write in their little Bible character all they know about Noah's Ark. I have a verse that they go through, and what I've been learning is, in order for them to memorize it quicker, we've been having them practice it after every single subject. So once they're done with math, they read their verse. History, they read their verse, and that is working so well. We have them write copy work of the verse. She has a test on copy work, and that's for her writing class, but I just have her write out her Bible verse. And then she also has a notebook that goes along with the verses that I put together for them that are on their cards, and they copy those. Let me show them to you just in case you're new and you haven't seen them. These are the Bible verse cards here. My daughter painted this. Oh, those are markers. So these are the Bible verses that we have here. And so there's a whole lot of them, you guys. I made these, and oops, it's upside down. So that's the Bible verse that they're working through right now. So that is what they go through after each subject. And then this is the copy workbook that I put together. It's literally these cards with like lined paper. Let me find where she's at. It's her copy work from last week. She'll continue this week to write more here. And then also on review, when I'm reading through the Bible, DK, the supplemental stuff, they will actually draw a picture. So this one was on creation that Tally did. So after each thing that we read in review, they draw a picture that has to do with the lesson that we have read on. So that's been really cool just to see like what they draw, what they use that they've actually learned and put it into like a drawing or something like that. So I have her do that. And then this is the Bible character book that I was talking about. So for instance, she just wrote through Adam and Eve because we just talked about Adam and Eve when we did creation. But this one is going to be Noah's Ark. So she'll have to write on this one sometime this week. So that's basically what I do for their Bible throughout the week. So I've already written that up. The history, like I said, let me move this aside. So the history, like I said, we are working through the Titanic. Now, we are not doing school this week together, so I'm going to mainly focus on reading through this and having them answer the questions and do like the little activities that are in here that I have. And then what we'll do is next week we'll focus on watching the documentaries, doing our drawing, because there's a drawing that you can watch. It's like a tutorial on YouTube. So I'm gonna have them do that. We're just gonna try to incorporate different things like that, art and stuff like that, into the study next week, because we wanna be together when we're doing those things. The kids are super excited about this. So I actually already wrote down the first history. I'm gonna use a pencil. I always use a pencil because I'm always erasing stuff. So Titanic, for each day, I'm gonna try to get through 2 chapters. Okay, so for history, we typically use Notgrass. Like I said, we don't have Notgrass, or Titanic's not in Notgrass. So usually when we start history, we'll do the Notgrass lesson, which is one lesson having to do with a specific topic or person. And then it moves on to someone else, but I like a lot of information. So we will do a unit study. So we usually start the Notgrass lesson on a Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we do our history unit that we're working through. And then on Friday, we don't work through our actual history curriculum or unit that we're working through. We do presidents. So we have this little president's book that I put together. And so the kids write a little bit about the president here, different facts and things, and they find their answers in this book here and in this book here. So this is something that they do for history. Let me go ahead and write that here so that I don't forget what I'm doing, because I want to explain stuff to you guys how we do it, and I also want to get it written down so I'm done with my planning. So they will draw a picture or trace a picture and color a picture. They'll put like their favorite food or animal or whatever next to it. Sometimes they don't always do that, but they do this on the side for art, and I think that that's pretty fun. They really enjoy it. So that's what they do for history on Fridays. Makes it a little more fun. It changes it up. They're getting their presidents in, because in Notgrass, they don't actually have like a president's lesson at all. It's just through different times and people and, you know, history topics, but never just like presidents. So we have that on Fridays. Also, they do a land form. So they basically look the land form up in here, and then they color it in here, write the definition, physical appearance. So that they do as well. So we're gonna do, what are they on right now? For history, presidents, and geography. So that's what we do on our Fridays. So the next subject we have, we bounce back and forth through health and science, but because my sister and myself have been separated for a few weeks now, we went ahead and did all of safety, which was our health. So that's completely done. So we are picking back up with science on lesson like 3, I think, through ecosystems. And actually I can look to see, because I need to know what lesson they're on. And I think she does a lesson a day. Sometimes she splits them up. It depends on how in depth it goes as far as like the activities and stuff like that. No, she's on 2. Okay, so usually we would go health one day, science, science, health, or health, science, health, science, or science, science, health, health. It just depended on what we had ready, what she felt like doing, what the kids kind of wanted to do. So it kind of goes back and forth. But now that we've finished our health already, we're just gonna work through science until it's done. We are planning on having the kids do a ecosystem oral report at the end of this quarter as some of their grade. And honestly, it's not even for the grade, you guys. It's just so they get used to standing up in front of us and doing like a presentation. And we're gonna have like our husbands, probably my dad. When is that going to be? That's gonna be the end. Yeah, so just some of family, you know, just so that they have that feeling of everybody watching them, you know what I mean? Because they have to know how to do that in life. So we wanted to do that, and we're thinking it's going to be about a 2-week long process of gathering information, reading on things, figuring out what they want to do, and then figuring out exactly if they're going to do like a board or a display or something like that. But I'm going to write a lesson each day, Monday through Thursday. We don't do science on Fridays. So that's how I'm going to fill it out now. And then nothing on Friday. Okay, so lesson 4 and then lesson 5. So that's how we do science. We already have all of our science experiment stuff separated in bags and in our little cubby down there. So science is ready. Next we have geography. So I'm just gonna write geog right here. In geography, we use the Notgrass 50 states. This is our base. We always love using Notgrass as a base because they give good information. The lessons aren't super long. They don't have you doing anything crazy. So we can add in whatever we want to this. So this week we're gonna be working through Ohio. I purchased the subscription for the Highlights Which Way USA. This is on Ohio. It has some mapping in here, so it comes with like this cool little atlas with information on it. And these are just like brain teasers, mazes, you know, word searches, things that just get your mind working. They also have questions and things that you use this map for. I have a video that I did on our geography, what exactly we use. I think that was last year's, but we're pretty much doing very similar things. But what's cool about Highlights is up in the corner of each layout, it has like information on a specific landmark or place in Ohio, and it talks about it, and then they work through it. Going deep, this is Lake Erie. So they have specific places in Ohio that they're actually learning about. So the girls get their information from here, and then they read through here. So they really enjoy doing it. Now let me break down to you how we do it. And this, it can be a little bit much sometimes, and I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. Sometimes our days last a while, sometimes they're very fast. It just depends on the kids' moods, how motivated we are, how late we get started, if we take a long lunch, like all of those things factor into everything. So with our geography, on Mondays and Tuesdays, we work through our 50 states. So I'm gonna write that here, okay? So we do the main lesson for Ohio. Uh-oh, I just bent that. Now I'm gonna look for Ohio here so I can find it, because we don't go in any particular order, so we don't go from the front of the book to the back, only because Highlights sends us random booklets at a time. So we get 2 booklets every 3 weeks. They are mailed out. So we get them, I'd say, every 4 weeks. So they come to us in random order. So that is what's really hard, keeping us all on the same page with this, is not getting the same ones at the same time. So that's a bit of a challenge. So when we don't, we just do our own state, and then when we have matching states, we do them together. So Ohio is 217 is that lesson, and there's a couple of them linked together. Okay, so Michigan's the first one. We don't have Michigan right now, so we're gonna jump ahead to Ohio. So this is gonna be page 226. Let me write this all out real quick. So 50 states, we also use this atlas workbook, and we use this lesson review. Mondays and Tuesdays, they work through these, but Mondays is when she works through her atlas workbook. Mondays, I have her do this. Tuesdays I have her do this. So I'm gonna write Monday's page here. So Atlas. She also has lesson review, and this is on Monday as well. So when my daughter is coloring the page on Monday in here, that is when I read the facts, or I have her read this sometimes. It depends on how long highlights takes her. But lately, I have been reading this to her. I find the state we're working on, they're just like funny facts about the specific state, so it makes it a little more interesting. So I find the state and I read that to her while she's coloring. And I also have been pulling out our America's National Parks book, and I find the state that we're working through and see if there are any national parks to read about. Now, not all states have national parks, and some states have a lot of national parks. So it just depends. So this is like a hit or miss. You either have stuff to read about in here or you don't. Okay, so Wednesday through Friday is when they work through their highlights, and the kids really love doing this together. I find it takes them forever when they're together because they talk about and they play around and they're going back and forth on, did you see this? Did you see that? Which is good, but not when it takes 2 hours, right? So we've been trying to manage the time on this, but we usually have them do 4 layouts a day in order for them to finish this up in a week. That has been a challenge. We've only been doing it that way because Tally is going to be starting another curriculum next year, and I want her to know all the states here before we move on to something else. So they do 4 spreads each day, which is a lot, I know, but it's fun. They enjoy it. Sometimes we skip, sometimes Tally will do some over the weekend for fun, you know, stuff like that. So it's not always like, it's not written in stone, you guys, okay? I just like to have a guide, you know, to stay on top of things. I also forgot to mention that they do mapping. So if they have a shorter day on one of these days, we usually do it Monday and Tuesday when they're working through their actual book, because it doesn't take as long as you would think. They literally have like 5 questions in their lesson review. We read the book, which is just a few pages, and then they color that 1 page. So it seems like a lot, but honestly, it really isn't. And then we have them doing some pages out of a mapping book that I bought last year. I think it's for grades 3 through 6. So now we're on the 4th grade section. I just moved chapter for each year. So it's just these workbook pages that she fills out on mapping skills and knowing how to like read the map and stuff like that. I've been trying to leave my blue section open on this, because that's where I write like my remarks on how well the class is going, how good the kids are being, what if they're involved, stuff like that. The thing they have is language. Language is actually when we start doing video led, and that my daughter listens to the video, and so do my nieces. And at this point, this is when I start teaching my son. My sister and myself switch off with my son when they're with us. But now that they aren't, I do all of our parent-led in the morning, and then I teach Isaiah for the rest of the last half of the day. So language, I use my little language arts manual here. I also have a parent-led one just in case I need more information on something, or if I'm actually teaching Tally, because sometimes we do. Lesson 56 is where we're starting. I know, you guys, we are like not very far into our lessons. Okay, so language, I just go through this and I see what she has, and then I write it here. That's basically all I do. Reading, we're doing something a little bit different these days. We're not using a Becca. Tally's reading her own books. And then I actually just made, I keep talking about this like in every video because I just made them. And where are they? I think it's over here. Okay, so Tally reads her own book. And we used to do a Becca. What? We used to do a Becca. I'm so tired, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm like tongue-tied. It's late. We used to do a Becca's reading. Now, Tally was getting really bored. I feel like a broken record. I feel like I tell you guys this all the time, but I don't know who's new watching this, so I don't want them to be lost. So she was really bored. So in order for me to get her to love reading, I wanted her to be able to read books that she's interested in. I still try to monitor them. I do monitor them. And just to make sure she's getting books that are good, okay? Which is hard nowadays, right? I mean, can you guys agree? It's kind of crazy. And even like the books that aren't good seem good because they make it seem funny, or like they put light on being mean, but they do it in a like a roundabout way. You know what I'm saying? Like a sneaky way. Anyways, okay, so she gets bored with the books. So I'm like, okay, Tal, you can pick out a book, and I give her choices, and then she chooses from that book. Okay, so with Abeka's curriculum for reading, it comes with a teacher guide, and as they're reading, you ask them questions about what they're reading. Well, I don't have that, and some of these books I have not read, so I don't even know what to ask her. So what I did was, and I did this for other reasons too, which is in my other video, but I'm not going to get into it right now just because I feel literally like I'm repeating myself, and I feel like you guys are going to get tired of hearing the same things. But I created this book review. It's like a questionnaire. It asks like the book title. Oh, I have to correct that. I feel like it's moved over a little bit. So on here, it tells her to write down the book title, the author, when it started, or when she started reading it, finished it, pages, things like that. And then it asks like little questions about how she enjoyed it and stuff like that. And then it asks like what the summary is, explain the story to me. So I'm gonna have her do this after each book, and then I'm gonna read it, and I'm gonna read about the book. So I'm gonna find information on the book, and I'm gonna read about it, and I'm gonna read this and see if it aligns enough, and then kind of like explain to her what I have found out. You know what I mean? Just to make sure that we are on the same track. Okay, so that is what I'm doing with this. Now she picked out a book. I think it's in the bedroom. What book did she pick out? The Secret Lake. That's what it's called, The Secret Lake. And so I have her read about 1 to 2 chapters a day. Now, because books vary in how long their chapters are, I see how long her chapters are, and I just base it on how many pages I think is adequate for her to read for that day. Another thing that I've changed is I used to have her do the reading during the day with school. Now I'm not, you guys. I'm letting her read at night. She reads at night anyways, and we have like a full day of school, so I feel like she's reading all day long anyways. So I told her instead of reading a book during school, she could read it at night, but it'll be for school as well. So I feel like that's a good trade there. In place of reading though during the day, she does do her reading comp, which is also through Abeka. And it's literally like a little tiny summary here. She reads it. There's some questions on the back that she answered there. And then that's it. And we kind of fell behind on this. So as soon as I'm trying to get her back on track with this, I mean, I guess there's no falling behind. See, you guys, I still get caught up in all of that mess. So I really want to apologize that the lighting is so bad in here, you guys, but I can only do things at certain times, on certain days. So tonight was one of the days that I had to finish this. I'm trying to spend more time with the family. So tomorrow I'm leaving open for everybody so we can hang out on Sunday and be together. So anyways, okay, so I'm on teaching textbooks to see what lesson Tally's on. She did her math on Friday. That's something I wanted to explain to you guys too, is we were doing math Monday through Thursday. Fridays, they didn't have math. But because we took off all of December and we're taking off all Fridays, or we have up until now, I don't want to fall behind in math. So what we're doing is we're doing every other week, they're doing math on Fridays. So they'll have 2 weeks on Fridays that they do math and 2 weeks on Fridays that they don't. Next we have writing. Okay, so writing, I wanted to talk to you guys about that as well. So with Tally's writing with Abeka, They really just have her doing a booklet on penmanship. So it does ask some questions on writing, and she has to write specific words when she thinks of words and things like that. But she was getting kind of, I don't know, maybe it was me. It wasn't even her. I just felt like, I don't know if I want her doing that anymore. So Mondays, for writing, I have her do a writing test, but she does it on our verse that we are working on. So this will be her verse test on Monday, okay? And then what I was doing is, these are not really right, well, one of them is. So originally I was doing 1 day out of the Abeka penmanship, 1 day out of our creative writing through The Good and the Beautiful, and 1 day for Evan Moore, and it's critical thinking. So it wasn't really writing, but it was critical thinking that I really wanted her to do, because I think it's important for you to have critical thinking skills. So what I'm thinking is, I'm not going to be doing the Abeka book anymore. And we originally had the Night Zookeeper, and she was actually really enjoying doing it, but I just could not find the time to fit it in with all of our stuff. And it was a bummer, because she really enjoyed it. And I loved watching how happy she was when she made up a story, or she like created one of her own characters, because she does that on her own anyway. So having this that actually is teaching her, you know, educational things, I wanted to start that again. So Tuesdays we are going to do The Good and the Beautiful. Okay, and I'm just giving you, I'm telling you guys these things just so that you are aware that you can change things up. And even if you change it up, you guys, and it doesn't work the way you wanted it to or you expected it to, you can change it again. Now, don't keep changing things so that it's like super chaotic, you're never finishing anything. I mean, do what you guys need to do in your own homeschool, but it can be easy to see something and be like, oh, I want to do that, and then do it, and then, oh, I want to do that, and switch it. And we can't do that because we need a little bit of structure. You know, we want them to finish what they start. So I'm not saying change it up all the time, but you do have the flexibility, and you're able to, unlike public schools, you know, that is one of the best things about homeschooling. There's so many good things about homeschooling, but that is one of them, is you can make it work for your child and for yourself. It's not like you have to fit in this specific box of how they teach you. You can change things up, you know, or if you see your kids really excelling in something and they don't need as much practice in it, do something else, you know what I mean? So I don't know, I'm really enjoying the freedom in it. I was really scared at first to have that freedom, but now I absolutely love it. And Evan Moore, I want to see where we're at. Okay, and then on Thursday, we are going to be working through the Night Zookeeper. She is going to be excited when I tell her she doesn't have to do the Abeka and she could do the Night Zookeeper. And then I may even have her do it on Fridays sometimes, or if we finish with Evan Moore before we're done with this, maybe we'll switch it up. I'm not quite sure. But Night Zookeeper, we're gonna have at least 1 day out of the week, maybe 2, but we're gonna start that this week. Okay, so next is spelling. Spelling, we use Abeka as well. And spelling, she just gets a list that she goes through. I have her write a list on the words every day. The first day though that she gets a new list, she has to do flashcards with the spelling words, her vocabulary, and the definition. So she has Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. She does a trial test on Thursday. If she fails the trial, not even fails, if she gets one wrong, she can retest on Friday, okay? And if she gets 100 on Thursday, she doesn't have to retest. So Tally's been doing really well with her spelling since we've been doing this. On her day that she gets her new list, which is Mondays, she does her flashcards. She works through her flashcards. She usually watches the video. Sometimes she doesn't, depends. Tuesday, she does her list. So she writes out the words all over again on a list, and then we work through her flashcards together. Wednesday, okay, the list, the flashcards, and she has like a workbook page that she has to do inside of her spelling booklet. So she does that on Wednesday. Thursday, she practices in the morning, runs through her flashcards, and then we usually test at the end of the day. If she doesn't pass, she hasn't really been passing on Thursdays, but there's only been a couple words that she's had to work through. So I only retest her on those specific words. Okay, so my last thing I have to do is I'm going back to my writing. I'm sorry, language. Tally has a test. I'm telling you guys this because I thought it was really cool, but last week we worked through George Washington Carver. We did a unit study that I made for us, created. And so we went through it with the kids, and I was reading through Tally's, language plan here, and I saw that the kids had, in language, they had to do a encyclopedia report on George Washington Carver. And when I told her, oh my gosh, you have a report to do, I didn't tell her like that. I was like, Tally, you have to do a George Washington Carver report. And she was like, another report, I don't want to do another. And she started to like dread it, right? Because she just did a book report and she was struggling with that a little bit. That's why I did some creating with new forms and stuff for her book reports to help her a little bit. You'll see that in my other videos, guys. But so when she was kind of dreading it, I'm like, Tally, you will do great. You just read about him. You guys really enjoyed reading about him. You know so much about him. You were so interested in it. And then she got kind of excited about it. So just make sure when you guys are like telling the kids, at least this is now what I've learned, that they have something like that to do, kind of like make it exciting. Make it like, oh my gosh, think of how creative you are and how you can write it down and explain to people that don't know who he is. Like, think of it like that. So she was super excited. After that, she was okay. She wrote it, she did great. So she already has her rough draft all filled out. So we're moving on from that. And I'm telling you guys that because I was about to have her rewrite her report. I am completely finished planning. I will go over this with her tomorrow. We will do our little scheduling tomorrow, kind of talk about the week, and that is it, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope this wasn't all over the place. I hope that it kind of gave you guys insight on different ways you can do it. Yeah, so that's it, you guys. Be safe, be blessed, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye, guys.
What if the world had more of your smile? What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no